Okay, now, is that working? Let's see here. Hey, oh, okay, so we are working. I'm just sitting here commenting that half the time I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, getting the live streams going, but I think we're good. So somebody's seen it. All right, so give me a sec here because allergies are bad today. All right, guys, we'll get it going here in a second. So, yep, got the notification. Okay, S-Dog, Shannon. All right, we'll get it. We'll get this working here in a minute. I got to get a link. Fuck, how do I do that? So, this is the shit I'm not sure of. I got to get a link. Fuck, how do I do it? Live. I think I just give you the link here. I think this does it. I think that does it. All right, now I'm getting better with that. All right, let's see how we're doing here. We get a few more guys on, I think. All right, let me get over to the market, see how we're doing here. All right, so pretty much this is right by the book. You see, I'll get a few more people on here. Okay, S-Dog Shannon, you're the only one on so far. Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, Erwin. Okay, good. Hey, Erwin, sound, video, all good? Hear me all right? Thanks for joining in. You good? Oh, I forgot there's a lag. There's a delay on this. There's a little too. Put that there. Perfect. Good. Oh, okay. Good. All right. Well, I think so. Everybody's got the link here. It's a little weird that my camera's off to the side, so I have to say good morning over here and then turn my head over here. But I have no other place to put the camera, as I mentioned to you guys last time. So we'll sort it out. Okay, all good, good. Okay, hey, Bobber, Simon, we know him. Bobber. Some people are funny; they don't want their real name on media, so I forget half the time. I figure everybody knows. I always know Erwin as Baby Whale because that's what he was at TDU forever. I have to correct myself and call him TDI Dev. All right, so I've got a 2,000 tick in front of me here. We're trying to look at a few other markets. Let's see. I guess I can. So what I got to watch here is the chat today. I wasn't very good with the chat. Let's get Bookmap up. So we have that going here. Interesting times in the market. So again, I'll say hi to all you guys. So we got a small crew here. Let me get this going. Up over here. So you see a pretty nice measured move here. We're just here right into a 50. Here are the targets. So you've got this nice two-legged move that's down. So down all night. Shit. Excuse me. Allergies are really bad today when it's raining here. You'd think rain would make it better. It actually makes it 3 times worse. So down all night, so no surprise, first move is up. It's almost always, 95% of the time, it will go the opposite direction of whatever was happening overnight. And the reason for that is because whales would never sell that. So if they intend to take it lower, they're going to take it up, suck in retail, and then take it down. This is completed. So this channel here has been realized multiple times here. So like here, this got its new low here, double bottom here. So we start a potential counter trend rally. And let's get that rolling here. Let's see if we can get a decent channel started here. Coming up to, let's go ahead and put this on the right side. Let's put you on the right side. All right, so right into a low volume node where we have an imbalance right at VWAP here, not surprising. So this is not a confirmed channel yet. You're looking for three hits, but right here would be an area of interest. So anyone looking for an early trade, that would be potentially of interest. Now it depends what the bar looks like when you get there. Okay, so what's going on over here? So baby, all good. Okay, all right, so we got small group. Now, interesting, the last video live stream, I got way more views after the fact, which I guess most people do. They can't watch real time always. Okay, so we're seeing here, we're good here. Oh, we're coming. Let's see. So I like to use my auto fibs like this, right? So right into a golden zone, right into a high value or to a low volume node. This coming down here, if we got fair value gap, order block, if we come to that 50, this would be an area of interest. For any of you guys that are comfortable taking a trade this early. I said a lot of times I'll start the day in micros just to try and build up a couple $100 of cushion before I start going to 2, 3, 4 lots in the full size. Early in the day, right, as I've said the other day, to get to be down 400, 500, 600 before 10 o'clock, it just sets your day off all the wrong way. I think better to try and avoid that. So I'm always a little more cautious in the first, call it 45 minutes of the day. Well, there's nothing here really screaming sell. If anything, you're looking for the opportunity to be a buyer. So something to come down here and do this has reasonable potential. But let's get the footprint going over here. See how that looks, right? So we've got two key pivots right here, but still a little early. You don't want to jump the gun. If it goes, if it pivots here, so be it. That would be my first try. Oh man, I'm glad to see that. Irwin. Well, there's a couple things to note here. So we're a little bit of a lack of volatility here. Squeeze. Now note right where the McGinley is relative to the EMA. The EMA is what's buried into that Gann high low, but that's a 2000. That's a 21 EMA and then a 21 McGinley. McGinley's going to lead it just slightly, so you can see here just off of that alone. Now that gets a little crowded in there. That's why I take them on and off. But we banged right into a golden. So this is very typical open. It's just ping pong, right? One algo to the next. Already in a little bit of consolidation. I'm going to try and go back and forth with multiple markets today if we can. I'm not even having an account connected here. So I don't do any trading these, but I actually had a great day yesterday. So, the thing with, just as a reminder, with footprints, I think particularly people that are new to footprints, they get so caught up into the individual numbers. That's never really what I'm looking at. Now, when something is gigantic, it really stands out. But what you're really looking for, and as I see it, right, is my opinion, the value of footprint is I get to see where traders are offsides, right, where they're going to have to cover. Now, we don't really have enough here yet to say anything meaningful. But so, for example, this would be a decent example right here. These guys are pushing hard down, right? As soon as this happens, as soon as we break here, they have to cover. There's probably, I don't know. What do you got there? 4 points. Now that we push down here, you'd think, oh, is this a correction here? We come right to the open and we go again. So these guys then have to cover. Right, so it gives you insight into where are they overly aggressive, and then where are they likely to have to cover being on the wrong side of the market. Now here, when you're just going, these are 10 tick range bars. This is just chop here, so there's no advantage to trading this yet. We don't really have any strong commitment one side or the other. What we do have here is a channel that's about potentially confirms here. Always, oh, you got a little wedge there. Always good to see. I get a third tag of the lower trend line here to confirm it. So even if we get a little throw over here, this would be, as Erwin said, right? So you want to see a decent. Now, if I get a monster bar down here, that's different. But if we pause here, potential. Now there's well, you'd have a potential second entry short there, but you might get a trap or a failed second entry short. Second entry long is right in the middle of that congestion, so I wouldn't take that. Now here, right, again, the force is always lagging, so be mindful of that. We're not trying to anticipate here, but it's confirming. Look at the RSI, look at the volume histogram. Okay, so now we're coming right back to the open. We know that's likely where an algo is going to fire. Now that's not enough, right? That's not enough yet, right? You'd be buying into the down momentum. Now, note where the McGinley is, and we're in a squeeze, right? So it's not, oh shit, let's get this over here. You're not ideal, right? See, you don't need to force early on in the day. Oh shit, guys, I'm gonna have to do this a couple times a day. This moisture kills me, so hang on. Many of you suffer from allergies. You know what I'm going through. Okay, so too much. Golden zone, right? It's just perfect golden zone, right? So there's the algo reaction. Why you always, well, as I said the other day, you never want to assume a break. You always want to assume it's going to hold. At the very least, that you're going to get a reaction, because you will 99.9% of the time, unless there's something driving it. So the micros will break into the order block, or pardon me. Is that? Yes, that is an order block. Okay, there's the reaction. It's not, sometimes these kind of a trade like this. Now note here, the RSI has to come across the signal line here, so you want to be mindful of that. So what do we really have here? You might look at this as more of a trading range here establishing, right? So perhaps this is the first attempt at a breakout that fails, right? We know 90% of all breakouts fail. Still not enough here to warrant a long, even though we are at the golden zone. If we come down here, that would be an area of interest. Oh, Jesus, this is bad today. Hazards of being on camera. I can't just mute it. All right, I'm getting used to it. Okay, so how are we doing here? Grumpy OG rejected a value area low, right? So he's noting here this rejection here, right? So I should, right, because that's a nice feature. Let's extend lines current. All right, we should, oh, did I get that wrong? Okay, good. Let's get current profile. Why am I not getting my lines? I got smoothing is on, auto splitting, let's turn it on. There we go, that's why. Okay, lots of imbalance here, so the market is kind of sorting itself out. So here's the pop at the golden zone, very, very typical. You wouldn't necessarily want to buy into that because of all the imbalance there, so the market can get through it. Well, so here now you've got, oh, come here. Right, you've got a little break here. If this, right, the implication would be one more down here to test the low of that. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to turn the auto splitting off, because I will often turn it off early in the day while we build up a little bit more volume here. This looks to me like I'm just going to look for one more down. We'll see. All right, that's pretty good. No, they're here twice because we're pulling from two different pivots. There's actually two pivots to pull from. Okay, right. So do you want to chase that? And I would still, I don't see anything where I have an edge here. I'm right into a fair value gap, right into the POC. There's, not enough. Oh, let's see over here. Let me get. I think first trade. Well, there's two ways to look at it, right? Sometimes you can just take a flyer. If I'm going to do just kind of nibble at it and just see if I think I see something, I will. If early in the day, I'm going to do it in micros, just to see how the market's responding, rather than take a could be, maybe, we'll see, right? Take a 3 lot in full size, and then you're down. If you get stopped, you're out 300, and then you're kind of kicking yourself, saying, was there really a trade there? Do we really have a trade here? I don't know. We do. If anything, maybe you got another push here. My guess is they wouldn't want to come down here and test this. Okay, well, let's see how this holds. And we got this down here. How do we deal with that? There's a second entry short, but again, it's not. You don't really have enough here to work with. In my view, there's nothing there yet. Looking at the book, pretty good amount of size up at 3,900. I think our max pain is 3,950 coming in today, so we're up above the highs. Well, let's see, what are the other markets doing? I've got per Jeff's setup here, I've put up a few other charts here. We might be able to switch back and forth, but I typically start the day in the S&P. I got a 5-minute over here. And what else do I have over here? There's a 2-minute. That's day session only. Looks like a lot of chop. Again, I kind of see this, right? It looks to me like we're just doing this. Just sideways so far. And that, you got to be careful in that. You can get yourself in trouble early, which is why I'd rather wait until I see something that I like, where I get a feel for, okay, does this need to come down? It looks like it might. Or does this need to come down here and finish and challenge those lows? Pre-market low, right? We can see likely to be a reaction there. Maybe not, right? So just we're going from this golden zone to this golden zone, just ping pong so far. Nobody's really committing one side or the other. If anything, now a little bit of a bullish bias. Let's see how it deals with that fair value gap. Right, it's got to close beyond to give yourself any conviction there. But ideally, what you want to see is, okay, come back and then come back and test it. Test that fair value gap. Do we get that? Here, so there's the PATS indicator just showing us consolidation around a squeeze. So really, there's nothing to do here yet. Oh, anything on the footprint that's worth noting? Not really. Nobody's really off sides. We do have one. Oh shit, hang on. Hopefully that allergy medicine's going to kick in. Okay, so now we're up here to test this, the upper end of this range. Is it real? No, there's nothing. So you can look up here, as I was saying before. There's no real look to see, is anybody off sides here? Right? Did anybody overcommit? Maybe a little here, but that's not enough to really say, oh, these guys are way off sides. These guys are going to defend likely, right? If we push down here, they're going to have to cover. Back to the McGinley. Not a lot of action, right? The volume's actually kind of low. I mean, that's a stacked imbalance, but look at the size there. Now that's where you can look and say, okay, well, that's 10, 14, 54. That's not really much size. It's the rotation here. So 10 tick intervals, there's just rotation a little bit. So we get 3 in a row here, retrace. Now these guys are going to feel the pressure. That's really in my view, how to use the footprint. Now, so if we get a big commitment here to the short side here, and then a rally off of that, then I can see people being off sides. I don't see anybody really. I guess these guys got a little squirrely, a little over aggressive. Again, that size is not substantial, right? These are 20, 50, those aren't big commitments. Market is nervous, of course, right, with all the... It is so funny, right? Bank collapse, and markets rally. Bank collapse, markets rally. So we're kind of back to, all right, this sure looks like we're in a trading range, right? So what do we know about trading ranges? 90% of the breakouts fail. So if you were looking up here, you'd be looking, I'd be looking for something more like this and take the short to look that to come down on the assumption here that, look, sure, I've got fair value gaps, I've got golden zone, I've got another golden zone, I've got all sorts of resistance up here. I got low volume nodes, i.e. imbalance, right? That's all that low volume node is showing you, is the little imbalance in the market. Okay. Let's see over here. I keep a 2-minute over here. Let's do the same thing. Let's put that volume profile on the right. Let's put you on the right. So we've got it. Yeah. So that's the advantage of, if you have the screen real estate, keeping one. Oh, where's my camera here? I gotta look. I guess I gotta look at you guys over here. Keeping one of them on an RTH, so it really, filling the gap becomes pretty obvious when they're doing it here. It's a little harder to see on a tick chart where you're keeping everything on the ETH. So they're going for the gap fill. You actually, well, it looks like they're going to get it here. I guess we don't need that since I'm not trading much. I don't know how you guys did yesterday. I thought the afternoon was good. There was good trading around here. So I don't here. I'm just using the devil's volume here. Let's get this to highlight those high volume bars. So obviously it's always a little distorted at the open. And that's the close of yesterday. So here's our open right into a golden zone, golden zone, golden zone. So do you see what we're doing here? This is golden zone. This is golden zone. So every pivot has been a golden zone. Now we're getting a target as we hit a golden zone. It's just, this is what the market is. This is what it is, right? It's just algos. That's all it is now, right? We just try and tuck in behind them. That's all we can do. Can't fight them. Can't change it. All you can do is work with them. That's really, I don't know how anyone trades not paying attention. I obviously they do it very successfully. I would feel again like you're walking through a minefield with blinders on. With blindfold, how would you? It would be pretty easy to buy into that. Pretty easy to sell into that. Look at that big down bar. No follow through. Here's the unfilled gap. Is that? That's going to be our unfilled gap right here. You'd anticipate that they'll fill it. Here's a liquidity grab up here, right? That potentially you'd have people fighting it from yesterday. Let's get this one back over here. Book map. There's some 200 lot at 39.20. Okay, so this is getting target here. So there's one out. There's an algo getting its target, right? Same shit every day. Same thing, always the same, right? Same thing, right? So there's the algo from golden zone to target. That's tick to tick. All right, so we got another potential channel here we could draw. We got a fatter one here. This one looks like you've got a little bit of a potential wedge going in there as we pop that. But nothing to say, oh, we're hot here. This is a full grind higher without 2 ATRs on a pullback. Anybody off sides up here? No really big commitments. Again, it's rotational. It's not really... Would I sell that? No, I wouldn't. Even though you're golden zone here, you might get a scalp out of that. But look what's under. You got a fair value gap. You got multiple fair value gaps. And then again, just as a reference, it's always good to check just before you impulsively take the short here. Okay, wait a minute. Where's the McGinley? Where's the EMA? Ideally, we want to trade closer to that, right? That's where we know the market is likely to find some support. We got a 50 and a golden zone right here. This would be, and that's a key pivot. So this would be an area I'd be interested in for that potential move if we get the retrace there. Looks like it's just, this is a slow grind to fill the gap. Hang on. Okay, so price hugging the weekly POC. Jeff, I keep thinking we got to get an indicator that highlights for us that Asian POC. I think that would be a nice add-on, maybe to the volume profile. I mean, I know you can draw it up yourself. So big, let's scrunch it up. See, what are we really doing here? This looks like I got 1, 2, potentially 3 drives here for a possible wedge. Nothing saying sell it other than we're seeing the buyers. It's a little bit of a drift. Second entry long here coming out of that squeeze. How are we doing over here? Price hugging the weekly POC. So weekly POC I don't have up in front of me. But, I mean, where's our gap fill? 39.21. Right, we're about to fill the gap here right as we hit this big cluster over here. So we've got one we're hitting. You see all of this over here? So is it there? Right? So you got to be looking at that more as resistance rather than a place to be shorting. So there's the gap fill, right? So same thing, right? The location, the area of interest doesn't change, right? It's still down here. Although you probably have another channel right here. So you're getting a bit of a wedge here. This, right? So weakness here, I might scalp that in micros here. I don't think it's good enough here, but you probably got some buyers up there that are going to get pinched. Look here, does that say sell it? It's saying, okay, move, retrace, look for some sign of support. So here we have the imbalance. So here we are at the imbalance. It's a little early, but you're at the McGinley. I like it a little bit lower here. That's not a great looking signal bar for a long, right? You don't want to fight that momentum. So as we come down, so what have we done? We literally filled the gap to the tick, filled the gap. Now we hold. Now that's a better looking signal bar. That's probably scalpable. So what do you probably got? So let's assume you didn't get the tick low. Maybe you got 23 there. That's a little early though. It's better. You're going to like it better down here. All right. So if you're micros, all right, and this is Jeff has talked about this as well. Lightheart. Oh shit, I should say Lightheart. It may be a nibble here if you're in micros here, but then I can add on the way down. So I can average down that fill. Now, there's some people tell you don't ever add to a loser. I'm not in that camp. As long as we don't have invalidation. Now, if we break... fuck. I'm afraid of Ninja locking on me. If we break this, then that's a different story. Okay, so there's now we're back into a squeeze. It's kind of a low vol open given the background we have in the market, which is, it's either fear or it's opportunity, as Warren Buffett famously said. So here we're coming into a 50. Still not a great looking signal bar. So you got a possible second entry there, but you're in a squeeze. Ideally, you want to stay on the right side of the RSI, right, for momentum. Just like the force, this lags. It's going to lag. It's really not so much for entry timing as it is confirmation. I always think of indicators that way. There are times when you're going to get the turn just right where you're going to get it, but it's really because all indicators lag. It's ultimately more confirmation than it is entry timing. Squeezy. No real edge here. You're sitting at 0. There's no big advantage here other than this would be tempting to take just like, well, fuck, I'm here to trade, so fuck, I guess I'll take one. Right now, that's why I wouldn't do it full size. If I was just feeling like, oh, let's just throw one in the water and see if we get a bite. I do it in micros because now I got some flexibility. So if we come down here, I can add to it again, see if I can average down a price. This is not really screaming at me be a buyer, but we're coming down here to try and get this golden zone at this prior consolidation. I kind of like this, but what I would want here is a good signal bar. Okay, so here we come. Let's look at it over on the footprint. I got some, so this actually, well, let's see how we react here. Can I bring this down? All right, so here, these guys potentially now would be in trouble if we push hard out of this, out of the pivot here. So I want to see, do these guys get in trouble, or are they going to keep the upper hand? Right now, it looks like they've got the upper hand. But that's what you're looking for. If they get in trouble, right? If we start to come back the other, well, let's go this way. If we start to come back the other direction, these guys right here. So I would want to wait until I get on the other side of that stacked imbalance. Not there yet, right? So there's the defense, right? They're going to defend, right? Is that you do the same if you could. It's not big size. There's 130 lot in there, so right to the stacked imbalance, right? So they keep the upper hand, right? So you had the potential for them to get in trouble, but they didn't, right? So now, okay, right, we change the outlook here. So this is right now it's an overshoot. Oh, I just keep drawing here. Sometimes I'll clean this up here, but I clean them up throughout the course of the day if indeed we've invalidated here. This is too far now, so this just looks like part of a larger. Okay, so let's reevaluate here. Let's clean that up. Is it possible we've got a bigger channel going on here? We might. I got 3 tags of it. Got targets down here. This is now screaming, no buys. So if anything, what are you looking for here? All right, so this is just it's just a measured move, right? It ran into that resistance. So right now you'd be waiting. Right? So you're trying to visualize, okay, if I get this is what I want to see, right? That's what I'd be after here. Can I get a retrace now? Well, at first, right, let's see how these guys handle it down here. So I got nothing down here. So this has already that's already realized. So you don't have to worry about this golden zone anymore. So I really have I have nothing until I get down here. I don't like to enter around any significant pivot, which is why I marked those pivots with that little fractal indicator. I don't like to enter there, so that the temptation to do that here, that's like a big no, don't do it to me. I got a possible second entry long here, but the current trend is down. How am I doing over here? Bear flag broken at the moment. He's absolutely right. So we can see this, right, played out. This suggests to me we're looking for new lows down here. But retrace here, right signal bar. We're in a low volume node here, so potential rollover here, but I'd like it a little bit higher. Okay, so that's good. Okay, now let's see. Can we get these shorts? They're going to defend, right? So that you can see that what they're doing, right? You see right here, this is where the stacked imbalance is. This again, do they hold here? Or if we start to push here, then these guys are in trouble, and you might be able to catch them for a quick scalp. This looks better here, so I think, right, as Jeff was noting, you might have a little flag here. You're on the wrong side of the RSI, but tradable. You trade that here with your stop right here. Stop right there on the weak high. Now, anytime you come to a pivot, right, it's always you're always vulnerable here for just the quick liquidity grab. RSI rolling over here. Oh, I just keep drawing them, right? I just keep drawing them so I can get some bearings. A little overshoot. Looks like we're going down. Okay, let's watch here. Low is at 800. Well, it looks like it was on this bar here. So do we get a new low? So this is, you can kind of see it here. This is I was talking about this earlier. So what did we do? We went up, here's the gap fill. Filled the gap straight down. Pretty typical, right? And there was imbalance there. It's kind of things, right? I know it's always easy after the fact, right? Oh, of course, right? It's always easier after the fact. Where's the right here. Where's the RSI? Where's the McGinley relative to the EMA, which is what's in that Gann high low. So there's 1, 2, 3 tags here. So this channel, I'd be looking again for another reload there. If we come back up into that imbalance here, and we're not, down here under 400, you can see down here. Right? So a lot of them I'm doing is just kind of drawing your attention to things, right? In terms of using these indicators, how do we use these tools? Okay, well that's screaming at me. Obviously, we don't have as much enthusiasm to the sell side here. And you've got potential for some traders to be on the wrong side, right? So these guys potentially getting a little nervous right now. So here's the defense, right? There's the POC up at the high. We have a name for that. Shit, I can't think of it what it is. But right at a golden zone, right? So it tags the golden zone, then reacts. Now down to the next golden zone. It's just algo ping pong every day, always the same. That never changes, right? So you can't fight it. You can't do anything about it other than work with it. That's your only choice. So that's a little too far for me to take that. We're too close to the low. I would be uncomfortable there, certainly in a full size. I like it up a little bit higher. I mean, this was really probably the best looking trade right there. And you're back to the open, right? Algos will use everything they can, right? So the open, it's too easy, right? Obviously, they're going to use that. You got the IB mid there as well, and you got a low volume node, so for an imbalance. So we're 1, 2, 3 tags here, so you'd be looking for that. If we break it, actually what you want is for this to break. So what you want right here is to see, if we're visualizing what we'd like to see, we want to see that and that. That's what I do when I'm trading. I'm trying to say, okay, well, what's the trade that I can forecast in my mind's eye that I'd be ready to pounce on? Coming back up here, I've got order block, fair value gap, another order block, 50 and a golden zone. So anything that pushes up here, I'm interested in. Hang on. All right. Hopefully that will die down. I'm on very, very high dose allergy meds, which they help a little bit. All right, how are we doing, guys? Let's see. So I need a bullish divergence as well. At my preset low zone, tested the regulars. I got to pay attention. Jeff's turned out to be one hell of a good trader. So you guys note his generosity in the Discord here of giving you guys good setups, and he's showing you his results. Okay, so anything here? Well, okay. Now we're in a squeeze, little consolidation. That's one of the nice features that Erwin, I guess I should call him. Well, you guys know he's Erwin. He built in these little consolidation zones here. I put them in orange so I don't miss them, right? It's the same reason I had him create this Gann high low for me, because I don't ever want to miss a squeeze. Now, remember, in a squeeze, right, we get a little bit of a tell, that's how I use it, as to what side is the McGinley on relative to the 21 EMA. That gives you a little bit of a teaser as in terms of which way that may potentially come out of that. Okay, so we're right into the imbalance here. But that's tradable, right? So there's probably a decent trade here with a stop on. I'd give it a little more cushion. I might give it here. So again, this would be a good way to use the micros here. So 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I'll have 15 micros on. Now the trade-off is you got to pay the commission on that. So you need a bigger move. But I have no reservation if we start to move up here, and I still think we're going lower, which right now the implication is here, okay, I got a little throw over. If we're coming up here, I would continue to be selling into that, averaging that price down, because the expectation is we're doing this. Now, if we break that golden zone, well, then you got to eat the loss. But it's you're not doing it in full size, you're doing it in micro, so you don't get yourself right. I'm very mindful of not getting in trouble early in the day. It just fucks your day, right? It fucks you mentally. You're playing catch up all day, and then it gets to be where your goal is not to make money. Your goal is to get back to zero. That's a bad headspace to be in. So I'm very selective about trades early in the day. But I would have taken something a little bit here. Consolidation here. You're not getting any edge really. You're smack dab in the middle. So where do you have an edge? When we're over 800, below 800. So we go gray in the middle, then yellow. Okay, getting warmer, possible edge. Now we get into the red. Now I got an edge. If I get that edge at a significant level on the board, okay, I'll take the trade. Let me get a bigger picture over here so I'm not completely clueless as to where we are. Shit, I gotta move that for a second to get my 15-minute. Maybe I can go. I'll get a 5-minute. I got a 5-minute over here. 10:15. IB low. Looking kind of juicy down here. Footprint. Anything we can learn here? Well, so far, right, the bigger moves have been all to the downside. So these guys here, these guys are going to be nervous. What are they going to go for? They're going to go for that right there. Value area low. I don't like to chase those, so it has the right kind of rotational feel for a good IB day. You see, again, it's rotation. We're not getting multiple moves. 10, 10, 10, 10. Squeeze, right? But note how we come out of the squeeze, right? This is a little bit, I think it's a little bit of a secret weapon. We come out of the squeeze. Now, we're not completely out of the squeeze, but look which side the McGinley's on. Okay, possible second entry. That's your first entry long there, but that's not the kind of, you'd be going very counter trend here. That's not a trade I would take. All right, now we'll keep coming. It's 10, 16. Now, as I said the other day, we really don't want to be banging the IB low at 10:30. We want to come into it when it's already set. That's where you get the best reactions. So this is kind of like the other day. Okay, so one thing to note here, and Erwin and I have both studied a lot of Al Brooks and concurred on this, right? So here's just the channeling rule is kind of a hard way to look at it, but the very strong tendency. So we have the channel established. Here's the break. Now the expectation is you're going to come down and take out that low, and Al Brooks calls it the trend line channeling rule. And his premise is the market is always channeling at some degree, right? You just have to go out to, if you can't find it on the chart you're on, you got to go out to a higher time frame. And this will keep you on the right side of expectation. So the anticipation is we're going to come down here and test this low. We've got the larger channel. Remember the larger channel that we drew here, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3 tags on it, a little throw over here. But the anticipation is we're coming down here to this level, right? This is the probable target right there from that. Right, just coming to stay within that channel. So this will be interesting. I'd rather have them push this down here because I've got this big fair value gap. I'd rather they do it now, and we'd be down here at 10:30, right? Again, if I can idealize the market I would hope to see, which, it's an exercise in your own mind so you're prepared should you get it. That's where I think we're going here. We'll see if we get it. 5 minutes, not really telling me much. 2 minute. Nothing really. So bears have had control pretty much all morning. So what are we looking at on the day? Actually, the S&P is down 25. Dow's down 300. Here's the little break, right? So we're pushing. So there's the test of those lows. Terrible place to enter, right? Terrible, right? You don't ever want to enter here. My view, right? That's terrible, right? You're so vulnerable to a kickback here, so you're sweating the whole time. Jeff telling me the golden zone target hit on 30-minute chart at 900. I think I have to, for me to see that. I'm going to take that down for a second. What are you looking at there, Jeff? This is a 15-minute. What are you looking at? If I bring this back over here, you're on a 30-minute. So what golden zone are you pulling? You've got to be pulling this one. So I'm assuming, is it this one? No, that's the 50. So whether if you're pulling from this high to this low, there's 50 to the tick. We got the target, cleared the target. But my guess is there's probably another one in there. Right here. To and through on that. I think it's here, Jeff. I think that's what we got right there, because that's so good and that's so good. And now we're tagging it. Come down here to this. I've got no low volume node over here. Still no real edge, but I'm curious here. I got to get you back up over here so I can see you. Where'd you go? You're oh shit. Still getting my bearings on the whole live stream idea. Oh fuck! Now where do I get that? How do I get my restream back? Oh shit! Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's it. So that gets me. Shit, is that it? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, I got you. On 30-minute chart. Let's see. So if I change that to a 30-minute, what did you get there? Well, so we got the new low here. So here's the, here Al Brooks, right? The father of, I called him the godfather. Somebody gave me a hard time on that. Godfather of price action. So here's the channel. Here's the break of the channel, right? The expectation. Why? So what? That's the inexperienced trader. Oh, break of a trend line. Oh, time to buy it. And of course they get bent over, right? And that's what that's about. Break the trend line, retail jumps on it. Not just retail, many traders break out. I mean, thankfully, we still have people to trade breakouts. So fortunately, right? Despite the fact that 90% of breakouts fail, they still take it every time. It's amazing. All right, so here we're right back to the order block, right back to that golden zone, right back to the EMA. That's tradable. You got a pretty big pivot block or pivot candle down here. So there's signs of strength there. I'd wait on that. So if this is going to be first entry, second entry, you got what you were looking for here. You got your realization of that channel, got its new low. So you have the ingredients here for a trend change at 1022. But my guess is this is going to still look to get a visit down here. Tradable. In the break of that low, you're right at the McGinley, right at the EMA and the McGinley. So key entry point. You got a possible flag here is something along these lines, but right, trend is pushing up now, moving away from the IB. Okay, so now we do potentially have some traders on the wrong side. These guys, are they in trouble? I don't know if I'd call it trouble yet. But these guys likely covered. They were pushing for, so what are they thinking? Oh, we're going down to the pre-market low. We're going to the IB, so they've already had to cover. We're running into the fair value gap up here. Resistance, so all these guys defending that. Right, they're going to try and keep it down here. If it gets much higher, they're going to have to cover. That's what you're looking for. Who's offsides and who's in trouble? Who's going to have to cover? These guys probably already covered. Yeah, let's get that off of there. Dorian Thomas. That's a name I don't recognize. Okay. All right. Okay, back up to the imbalance area. All right, so you can see how significant. I mean, these are really. It's one of the great. I think one of our best additions of late. Oh shit! I don't want to do what I did last week. Look at that imbalance here. It was support, resistance. Support, resistance. What are we doing here? Right, all just off of this imbalance zone here, right? But at the IB mid. 06 to 08. Now, if you got a decent, well, look where the McGinley and the EMA are, right? So right now it's advantage bulls, and you've got the potential. If this kicks here, you're going to get all of the shorts here are going to be in trouble, and we're not there yet. But if we break down this way, that's going to start to look better. You got one. This pivot is obviously significant here, and you got a golden zone right there. right? Don't discount that McGinley. So right now it's advantage bulls. Still expecting a visit down here. Okay, so there's a trap, right? Second entry long. But you wouldn't see that would be to me, this would be dangerous, right? And I might get through it, but you're buying right into the established area of imbalance. So you don't know what's going to happen here, and you don't have any real edge here.
Yes, sell 560.
Okay, so there's an iceberg just dumped into the market. Now, so often that's bait to get you to go the wrong way. So a big iceberg just dropped into the market here. So let's see if we can spot it. Yeah, you got some size. It's just dropped in there. Okay, so these guys here, right, came in pretty strong right here. Here's a 500, here's 500, here's 1,000. That's when you're looking, right? So note here, this is 60, 21, 54. Here's 500, 500. Here's 1,000, 300, right? So big buy imbalance. Okay, who's on the wrong side? Because almost always they're trying to fuck with you there. That's misdirection. So you don't ever want to chase those in the direction that they're going, right? So this is a big push up here. I wouldn't chase that on the long side. If anything, I'd be looking for the opportunity to sell it, but that's just me. All right, so let's get over here. What do I see here? So we've cleared out that imbalance, so the next one's up here. This would be, well, so here between this 50 and this golden zone, we're coming back to the upper edge of that channel. Might be interesting. This still looking down here. Well, from the high, let's see what we got here. So we know they're right there. That confirms that channel. Any little break here, you'd be anticipating a little push higher. Could I get an edge over here? I'd like to get up into the 800s before I'd be thinking about selling that. But I've got lots of potential here, levels on the board that would be of interest. Let's bring this back in. Big, well, let's see here. Get this to you guys. All right, so pretty big size over here if I pop this up. Again, this is a luxury, book map. It's not radically expensive, but it's not inexpensive. Yeah, pretty big size up here right now. That just because it's there, right? Likely what that means is they're going to want to go test it. So it's interesting to watch them pull it. Right? Are they going to stay and fight that? There's the effort, and they pull it. Right? Do you see? So it went from that bright orange to now it's just blue. So half of that was pulled. They just moved it up here. So there's a 500 lot, 568 lot up here waiting to sell that at 39.12. So we'll see. All right, we'll see if they pull it. There's 39.12 is right here at this imbalance. It's pretty good little push here. You can't be completely blind to the fact here that we did realize here the break and the new lows here. So you have the ingredients for a potential trend change. I think this is where I would see it going. What else do I have to show you guys? All right, so I keep this. I keep the footprint directly above on the monitor right above, so I can just look up and see what's happening up here. Do I have somebody off sides? They seem to be handling it. So all these guys now have all had to cover. So that 500 lot is still up there. It was 39.12. They didn't tick it. They went up just shy of it. Likely it gets up there. They're going to want to trade there and at least see what happens there. Remember, the market's looking for liquidity, and if it can find it up there, it's going to go test it. There's 12 is right here at this prior pivot. So here's where that order block is, or where that limit order is. Let's see what they do when they get there. decent amount of size here. But, all right, so never, ever, ever assume that's going to break. Always assume it's going to hold. And you'll be right 90% of the time. Now, it may break, but you're going to get a reaction there. And it's right at an imbalance. So this would be, that's a scalp, right? There's probably a scalp there. Now, you'd want a decent signal bar there. You don't really have it. And I'd want to see, where's my fucking here? Do I have any edge here? Are we at least getting up into the red zone here? So far, so I got 1, 2, 3. So this is a good channel. So if I break here, it doesn't necessarily mean time to short it. It suggests, right, if we break a little bit here, we're going to want to come back up one more time, get a new high. That might set it up better. It might get you into the red zone here a little bit better. You're going counter trend, right? So you got to be very mindful of that. Look at the McGinley, right? So the other alternative here is we come back down here. We come back to the high volume node here, back to the open. I got a 50, and then I go up and get a new high. This is kind of okay. Is there a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm as buyers as we've rolled up in here to this? I mean, that's a pretty good push off of the low. These are not insignificant, right? The whole push up, right? Nothing 2 times the ATR, right? So just a straight grind. Okay, so there's a pretty good push. Okay, so there we go. Now we get up to, there's tick high of the day. That's not the signal bar you want to short when we broke the golden zone. And that's we got a bar closed above it. So let's redraw this puppy right there. So still intact. Yeah, let's get you. Can I get you off there? All right, so that was probably a decent scalp, although you're not done there. So you got one. It's tradable. I'd want to see what happens here. Let's squeeze it all together. That's note what we just did. We're overshooting the big channel. Sometimes it's such a pain. Okay, there we go. Let's redraw this one. Okay, what are your scenarios here? We could come down here, right? Bump into this, all this structure here that we looked at earlier. We bump into that and go up now, right? So we're going to leave the IB low. So really, what are we doing here? Range, value area low, value area high. Market is kind of seeking trend direction. Do we have a trend? Do we? We got short-term trends for sure. It's pretty ugly over on the RTH session. That's some pretty good wick rejection. So you got a possible second entry short here. That's 1, 2. I would not take that myself. No real edge here. But down here, it looks more interesting. If this, can I do that? Into here. 1. Okay, poor execution on my entry on the way out. Got spoofed by Bookmap. Yeah, Grumpy OG, I'm telling you those. Well, let's see, there was that. Look what they did up there. Right, so there you can see it after the fact, right? This is great after the fact, right? So here was that 500 lot. They went, took on some of it, 341 traded there. And then, yeah, right, so these are almost always bait to get you long, right, to chase. And then you're clenching right there. But they seem to want to, what's next here? There's no major size up here. There's a little bit of build up here at 15. Ninja has something kind of like that, right? See, what is Bookmap? 100 and something a month, something like that. It's not cheap. It's not essential. It's a luxury item. have we really done much here? Little micro trades. You got 800, 900. This is probably the best one here. I'm still inclined to be looking lower as we hit that. Another little consolidation. Anybody up here in trouble? Maybe. Might have some shorts that came a little bit early to the party there. Okay, who's nervous? Who's uncomfortable? So do you see how it's okay, so we had this decent, but along the way, it's not like boom, 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 you know, like a big push. It's rotational. So this 10 down, 10 up, 10 down, 10 up, 10 down, 10 up. There's no real, okay, maybe here I get these guys in trouble. Maybe these guys have to cover. They get nervous now. Right here, we're coming into that golden zone. Okay, that's better looking push. Oh, maybe we'll get the IB high. 1036, right? So that we potentially will have it right here on the footprint chart. We do have 3930. It looks like there's a lot of call buyers there. So if we break above this, the potential is here that we could have a move next 3980. I mean, that'd be a big move to get beyond that. Nothing here, but that would suggest you could have another kick up here to push that to a new tick high above the McGinley. A little retrace. Let's see if we can get something more interesting over here in terms of a setup. I'll bring that back if we get up to the IB. So here's a little break, and then we get a new high. So this channel here is solid. It's been confirmed. Okay. This would be an area of interest to me. Right here. Well, and maybe we're going to get IB first. Okay, so that's good timing, right? So we want that. Kind of nice to see. I've got a low volume node here. I've got a golden zone just on the other side of it. That's a little farther, but that's a 65. What are we going to hit there? So what I'd be looking for is this. Can I come back here and then go attack the IB high? Let's overshoot from the big one. I like it here. I like the imbalance here. You're buying in the middle, but at least you're buying at a key entry point. This is cooling off. You potential now some of the longs that were getting overly aggressive there might be getting a little nervous if we start to pull down. All right, these guys are going to get a little nervous if we don't get legs here. That's pretty good size right there. All right, so they're going to push for it. Well, here, let's watch it. Let's watch it on the footprint if we're going to get it. That's where I would watch it. But for the same reason, right? I'm looking to see bulls. I want to see bulls be off sides up here. Now I've got a couple of golden zones here. Those are a little far. For me, if it gets this far away, I'd want to see this, right? Then maybe I'd take that. But this is where you get the higher percentage, right? So if we can be in the red zone up here as we get that, and then I can see some trap bulls, that's what I'd be looking for. Where are you guys? Let's see. So I can't see myself looking at you guys. Okay, watching value high, Grumpy OG. Try pitchfork starting at 932 low. Oh shit, here, I'll do that in a sec. That's a great, we have that, probably the most underappreciated feature in our toolbar is the auto range. I'll show that to you in a second. See if we're going to get there. And I want to get there when we're in the red. And I want to see some trap bulls up there. Still got a ways to go here. It's going to have to get through all of that. And it's not going to be an easy ride to get there. Big imbalance here. Pretty much a straight grind. So note here, right? Bulls fully in control here. Not even a little bit of a pullback. This is actually just what you want. This is a perfect setup for this. We've got a prior high, right? So you'd anticipate that they would at least try and get the stops up here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. I can bring this over. All right. Let's see what we get here. No, it's not close enough yet. Okay, first thing we got to deal with is this supply zone here. Right, that led to the break of structure. The opening range high, your 30-minute high, and this imbalance, and a golden zone right there. All set up nicely. This is ripe. All right, so if you get over 68, right, improves the odds here, just like down here, we're below 32. Looks like a decent setup. I'd like to see the tick get a little hotter. Now, if I see trap bulls up there, as long as we're at least over, 500-600, I would take it here. Let's see what we get here. Here they come. Oh shit! They just got there. Whoa! No! Too much. You could probably take one right now. You just ran into this. Now you gotta be looking to take portion off here if you tap here, because that'll be the support, because you see where they are here. What did you get there? Did you get scalps out? Let's assume you didn't get all of it. You got 9 ticks, so your scalps would be out. Boy, they came fast here, but look what we got here. We got a new tick high as we hit it. Now this should be the support. Let's see if it holds. All right, so you have potential for these guys to be very uncomfortable right now. Let's see, so stacked imbalance here. If it's going to hold, if they're serious now, that will kick back up. But potentially, you got your scalps out here. My runner here, I'd be tight with this, expecting this to bounce. Do they hold it? They're going to make an effort to. You can be sure of that. Right? They want to, right? They're trying to pull in higher time frame traders, right? So, right to the edge. And everybody, but at least you should be, now it's just a free trade, right? So your scalp should be out. Runner, I'd probably be on the other side of that pivot. Let's see if they can hold it here. Made a full loop. Boy, it got there awfully fast, didn't it? Hope some of you guys caught that. Well, so someone said, Vertic. I'm seeing some new handles, right? So these guys bought, right? Do you think that they knew that was there? I would bet you not, right? So these guys, bulls, just go with the momentum, right? Now these guys are all a little nervous. We're not far enough away to where I'm going to assume everybody's closed. These guys are going to be a little uncomfortable now. Right now, they're definitely uncomfortable. Not enough yet. They still have this up here. Right, remember that. Decent. God, I was pulling the chart over. It got there so fast. That was a big. Well, that's pretty typical, actually. Right. This is when it's, again, we're not the only ones who know this, right? So when they're coming into it, that's what you're looking for, right? They're gonna go for it. They almost always do. As soon as we got this, and you got a stripe, right, kind of helps. So what did we get there? We got, oh shit, I can't remember what the O is. I had it written down. But you got multiple signs of weakness here. So what total? I'm probably not going to get all of it. All right, so there's 24 ticks there. These guys here, it looks like that's your support right here. probably pull this over. Prior resistance, support. Now they're going to go again. They're going to try and get it out of there. I mean, you know, 3 major banks collapse. Well, of course the market's up. Of course. Of course it is. Pretty good, right? I mean, can't make that shit up, right? Right into a cluster of them. Look at those spike in the. Everybody spiked here, and then just what we got from it was just enough to give us a 2 times the ATR retrace right into a 50 into an order block. Now this will be not easy to blow through. No, this unrealized. Right, we got enough. We're far enough here. You'd have to call that a trend change, obviously. So while that is technically could come back here, let's go ahead and clean that up. Little things to notice. Now it's always easy after the fact, but look at the McGinley relative to the other EMA. Right? I know this is painfully obvious after the fact, but just for future reference, there's no turn here that we make where if you were just following that. I know, easy after the fact, but just it's at the end of the day or at the the end of the morning, you look here and you go, well, fuck, if I just, right? Seems like, boy, that sure does seem to keep you on the right side of the market. So just that alone should have you thinking, okay, wait a minute, do I really want to short it right here? Given what I'm looking at, do I want to long it right here? Seems, I know, it's annoying. It's annoyingly easy after the fact. Is there any question about who's in charge? Not anymore. Oh, pretty good looking channel confirmed there. That's overshoot. Where are we here? New tick high. 1100. At that, yeah, I'd be interested in a scalp there. You probably got a scalp there. Stop. It's low enough risk here. I think you could put a stop on the other side of that and take that. Oh, let's see if you got potential for these guys to be in trouble here, but you got a stacked imbalance here, which is, that would be your caution. Ideally, you get on the other side of this because these guys will have to cover. Right now they're the support, and these guys, if it pumps here, they're going to cover. It's not a shitload of size there. It's 100 lot, 144. Bookmap, they're still up there. I would want this. I want these guys in trouble. I want these guys nervous. Right now, these guys are a little nervous. Right, but where are we here? They're not letting it get down into the oversold, so still buy programs are in control. You're breaking yesterday's high now. So if you took that, best case here, you got scratch, small loser. Oh, assume you're not going to get much there. You got 8 ticks, right? I typically will go for 5 on the first 2. I think this is what I use right here for a scalp. I go for 5 on the first 2, 12 tick stop, 12 on the runner. But I'll move the runner based on what I see. Okay, so this is clearly we got bulls in charge. Very much in charge. Now that's pretty good overshoot. I got 1, 2, 3. That overshoot is setting up for either we're gonna have a big bull day here. I mean, why wouldn't we with a major banking crisis? Why wouldn't we have a massive up day? Makes perfect sense, of course. Pre-market high, next target. We got this pivot here that's going back a day. That's a pretty good kick. Really nothing to do here. You don't really want to do much up here, but if we came back down into this, right, gets the channel, the EMA, get something like that. You know, your bias and your expectation of the market has to change with the market as it moves. Right? So I didn't see a raging up day coming, but that's what we got. 39.28, bottom of my Asian zone. 39.28. 39.28 is the bottom of your Asian zone. All right, so that's going to be right here. Okay, so you got a potential second entry short there, but that's why you, right? That's so you can look. It's easy to look at it and go, oh fuck, man, look how far it's gone. It's not going to go any higher. I can sell it. Remember this, right? I learned this long ago, and it's painfully true. Just sellers at highs create new highs. Buyers at lows create new lows, right? Because if you're selling it here, where's your stop, right? It's a tick above that. So everybody on the planet knows that. So what are they going to try and do? Go get your stop. Well, you can see they're pulling orders here. 39.40 is the next big one. Well, we're dealing with these imbalances from the prior day pretty well. You're at an imbalance right now. I'm looking over at the 15-minute. Well, let's redraw that. Pretty good overshoot here. That's a big move. Only looking bullish. Right, the scalp here, that's always going to be counter trend. So I know Yellen is testifying today, so maybe she's, I don't know what she said something here to give the market a little confidence. Here's this is worth measuring. Here's the one retrace we got right there. Right, so the 100 up here at the IB at the pre-market high could be interesting. But that's very much a scalp trade, and you'd be looking for, Jesus, this is quite a rip here. All right, what is it they say? The market will do what it can to fuck the most amount of people at any moment in time. Maybe I'm not quoting the literature there, but you get my drift. That's quite a rip. Something positive coming out of those hearings, I would assume. What do I got? Jim Bino, downtrend line broke. Downtrend line broke. So you must be on, oh, I see what you're on, a 15. Oh, I'm looking at a 30. I see what you're looking at over here. So this is, I'm assuming, what you're looking at. You're looking at this, I'm assuming. Got a big order block here already. Well, you got mitigated here, but not broken. What could we be dealing with there? This guy. There it is. Here it is. That must have been what you guys were talking about. So this, that must have been what Jeff was talking about. So I'd pull this over. All right, even though mitigated here, that's likely still some resistance there. Oh, let's see. Can we get a... This is what I was talking about. Boom. To and through, so next up to that target. Of course the market's up massively today. Makes perfect sense. Okay, so there we're at the 100 at the pre-market high. That's, well, this would have to be really hot. That's pretty hot. But notice that's not a signal bar to sell. It's tempting to do that, but you're so much better to let it show you that it's going to slow down here and get your lower high before you take it. All right? Sellers at highs create new highs. Somebody sold it there. Their stops are getting run right now. They're at the pre-market high. Boy, that's quite a move. Well, the target is 39.66. Order books getting cleared out. Well, there's a bit of a reload at 39.50. I think that's where they've moved it up now. So the big 39.80 is the big one. Well, this is quite a ripper. Quite a rip. Wow. That's all computer programs, right? That's all buy programs, right? So you can see it over in the tick, right? So this is always a tell. When they're not letting it make a full cycle, it's just buy, 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 buy. They're just buying stocks as fast as they can, right? There's no selling relief pressure here. So that's tempting, right? Because of the hot tick, but see, if you take that trade, you're going to kick yourself. You're going, fuck, what am I doing selling a raging uptrend? Right? See, you're just better to at least wait for the lower high. Now that's a pretty good overshoot off of that channel. Well, here I'm going to redraw it. Ninja doesn't like to do that. Pretty good overshoot, right? Which would suggest that when the correction comes, it would be deeper. You'd likely break here before we go up and get a push to a new high. So there we go. Okay, so now there's a little selling come in. So at least we went on the other side of zero, but let's see, can we get all the way, get a full circuit, or are they just going to use it as a chance to buy more? Bitcoin. What are we doing here? So 22 in the ES, 137 in the Dow. It's not a it's just surprising. Okay, so this is the overshoot. So I'd be interested down here. Right here. In that range here. So if I was looking to be a buyer, I would start, if I got the right kind of signal bars, start here. I'd be willing to add more here, average that price down, anticipating another push to a new high. Dorian Thomas still expected to dump, and I'm pretty sure for trap shorts here. Yes, you are correct, right? You can see them already. Right, so these guys, well, you got a golden zone here. What did it just run into? Golden zone, right? So it's going to have to deal with that. So these guys held, right? There's the test, right? That's the beauty of that stacked imbalance indicator, showing you, oh, can they get through? And then also you got a 50 in a golden zone here. So you got potential for some shorts to be nervous here. There's 100, 104, 104 there. You got a 200 lot up at 39.60. Now, remember, all of these guys here, right, there's so potential, they're going to have trailing stops. So this will be either they're getting taken out on trailing stops here, or they're going to look to defend. But where would they look to defend? They're going to look to defend right here. Now, these guys, do they get in trouble, or are these guys starting to get nervous and take profit? I would be looking, if we get on the other side of this here, although you don't have a lot of, the first thing you got to deal with is that, right? And you got a low volume node there. So I would be reluctant. See, there's a trade that I've done it enough to where I don't do it anymore. I would not do that. I would not buy that if we break here. Now, this is me, because that is too much potential resistance here. And that potentially sets up just what you're looking for, is a swing, retrace lower high, and then we go. It'd be a better looking short to me. All right, let's get over here. Okay, all of this as we marked it out. This would be area of interest. See, there's the first one. Right? Now, do we get to target, right? That's not far off. It's right on the channel. You'd anticipate a little more, right, because of the overshoot here. This is screaming, oh, what do I want to be a buyer up here at the highs? Well, maybe. You got some big size from your back looking at. So that's RTH, or this is RTH only, but the what's today? Wednesday's high, we're just ticking that. That's quite, jeez, look at that 30-minute bar is a fucking beast. Look at that bar. Still going. Well, okay, so this is not to be ignored, right? What happened to all the buying enthusiasm? Now that can change, right? This is going to lag, right? So they might do one of these right here. You don't know, but this is it's a hey, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. We're heading down here, obviously, right? We don't have the same enthusiasm we had. I'm not saying sell it. I'm saying I wouldn't be adding to longs here. If anything, I'd be tightening up stop. Now we get a little consolidation. What time is it? So really this has really been the only chance to short it was the IB high. Pretty good rip. I'd like to know what Yellen is talking about. Okay, surprised they're dumping bonds on this move. What are they doing to bonds? They are they dumping bonds? Looks to me like they're buying bonds. Okay, lots of potential support down here. But if you're looking here, where's the pivot to draw from? It's really here. This is the last. Well, you got a little micro here. Got to that target. So these are pretty big extended moves. Oof. It's not terribly unlike Tuesday where we just went straight up. Now this will. My guess is this is going to get better as the day progresses. We'll get through the lunch hour, and in the afternoon should have some pretty good opportunities. And you guys trading this stuff here? It's hard for me to think about, kind of talking it through. But again, careful, right? That's not insignificant. Where's all the buying enthusiasm that was all here on the way up? Now, are we about to flip over here? It's not so much you trying to time that as in, oh, it's crossing. Oh, I want to sell it. It's more, I want to get underneath it so I confirm it. Remember, all indicators lag. They always lag. Well, footprint, I suppose we get. But I want to get the confirm if I was thinking something deeper is coming. Again, don't ignore it. It doesn't have to be the force, right? I'm used to using force because I'm on a tick chart, right? The other charts here, I've got volume up. Or cum delta, or something to give you a sense of, okay, who's the aggressor here? There's a second entry short, but is that enough? Let's see. We got some trap longs up here. Potentially you get some shorts that are overly aggressive. Okay, back to a key entry point, i.e. 21 McGinley. These guys already sweating, if not already out. Now, if we rally here, what's the size here? It's not huge. There's pretty good support in the book there. I'd want to get on the other side of this for a scalp. Well, here you can kind of see what are we doing. Right, market likes to move, and then I call them threes. Other people call them second entries. I'm so Elliott tuned, right? It's just ABC to me. Let's see, cum delta bullish divergence scaling out shortly. So I'm glad you guys are doing some trading. That's the one trade off here. I don't get to do much trading on this, but I bet this afternoon is going to be good. Okay, so we've had, remember, so the implication here is that we're not done yet, that there's another test of this high. That's the implication of the overshoot here, that we'd have a deeper retracement, but there's going to be another push to get to that high. Right, that's the Al Brooks trendline rule, which will guide you well. That is it 100%? Nothing's 100%. Nothing. It'll keep you on the right side of the market more often than not, and it'll keep you from making, I don't want to say retail moves from a lack of price action awareness. Okay, nice. So I got 1, 2. So remember, it's three tags to confirm the channel, right? So I got 2. So if I get one more, I'll be looking down here. Right now, we don't want to get too far, right? So then you'd be like, geez, is that really going to go up here? But support, 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 order block, imbalance, next stop. So if it breaks, you can see where it's likely to go next, right? This area would be of interest. If it breaks, 1105, still plenty of juice here. Starts to slow down after Europe closes. Okay, so here, this is the last swing low, right? So you can see it down here. Well, this is the last pivot we'd have to draw from. So this 50 is tied to this pivot. So if I were to draw it here, all right, so this is an area of interest. Now, we don't want this to get too far. These guys potentially going to get uncomfortable, but no, I got pre-market high, guarantee and algo's tied to that. And then you got a golden zone right here, IB 100, often they'll tie to that. But you'll often see to the tick pivots here at the pre-market high. So these guys are already clenching, right? Uh-oh, uh-oh. They're going to try and defend. Okay, so your expectation, right? It's an expectation. It's not a certainty that we're going to go up and break those highs. So, room to buy it? Well, you'd want to get on the other side of the EMA. Right, you did have a second entry short here. Same, hello. All right, where are they? Right now, the RSI has gone green. That's good. You at least want to be, if you can, right? Try and be on the same side as that. But look at the fall off in enthusiasm here. Did we just get too far? Did we just go too much to where we're like, okay, that's it. Right, that would be the lazy thought. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's gone so far. Okay, it's not going to go any higher. If you're following price action, historical price action tendency, how about I say it that way? You're anticipating a new high here. Okay, nothing here says no. Now you're right at the golden zone here. Right at the golden zone. Here, you got to get through that. Don't assume it's going to break. Assume it's going to react, because it will. You got an imbalance there as well from this. Right, so there's the reaction. Right, you just that has more money lost. People buying into little micro golden zones. They don't know it's there, so they just think, oh, well, three bars. Oh, I'm going to buy it. I have lost more money there. That's why I don't ever do it anymore. I was always like, okay, it'll break. It's just a little micro. It's not going to. And then, if you're in a 3 lot and it's 7, 8, 9 ticks, you're uncomfortable, to say the least. So, so here's fair value gap. The better signs, right? So, oh, okay. All of a sudden, a little interest. You're anticipating to shoot to that high, right? So we got potential liquidity grab. You're not looking to short it. Decent, right? There's the new high. Right? You can. This is very reliable price action. Okay, not a new tick high, but we got over $1,000, right? So that's. I don't know that I'd be. Oops. That's pretty rip roaring day. But now, so this is now realized. It's got its new high. Let's take you down here. Now, what you note here, so if you're thinking, oh, I short it, right? So look what's being left underneath it, fair value gap, 50, golden zone here. So you really, even though we've realized the new high here, it's still buys only until we get a lower high. No, I wouldn't buy here. It's too close to it. Sellers at highs create new highs. So if you're selling it, where's your stop? Right there. So there's no, it's not a place to sell. I'd be looking for, can I get this? Can I come down here and get this? Because I got another channel right here. We go again, right? Just it's 1, 2, 3. If we go again, that confirms the channel. If we break, okay, there's some divergence we're seeing here. It's not dramatic, but it's enough, right? It's more dramatic in price than it is on volume. Look at the change, right? So here they come. this. I mean, I know it's easy after the fact. But the whole time I was saying, hey, don't ignore this. Don't ignore that. You gotta pay attention to the volume, right? I say it that way. The force, right? How enthusiastic are they? Well, you could use cum delta, right? Who's enthusiastically on, dropping in market orders? Boy, this is quite a rip. Okay, so same thing, right? So you would anticipate here that there's going to be another push to take out this high, right? So they just keep. Where are all the stops right now? Where are all the stops? Right here. Right, isn't that where you'd put it? Right, you don't want to give it too much, right? You put it up here and like, oh fuck, right? Well then I'm trying to get. So if you're trying to get 2 to 1 there, Erwin uses this better than I do. Fuck, I think you want your stop there, right there. Okay, so if you're trying to get 2, 3 to 1 here and your stop's up here, well, you're gonna have to sell it right at the high. I wouldn't do that unless I saw a very hot tick here. The implication is we go up again and we take out the stops here. That doesn't mean it happens, but that's what the price action is implying. Oh, get out of there. This one has not been tagged yet, so that's still in play. We're actually gonna have to change that. So now it's right here. These guys would slide up here. Area of interest. That's only 1, 2. Okay, I'd call this more of a. Okay, we're stalling a little bit up here. Again, right? Don't ignore this. Where's the enthusiasm? Well, and again, be mindful of this. Whales are not going to buy the highs ever under any circumstances. They don't have to. They'll take it down if they want it to go higher. If their intention is that we're going to push higher, they have to take it down first so they can buy it on sale and fuck retail, right? Retail? Well, not to just inexperienced trader. Oh, it's safe now. I can buy it new high. That's why it's always the worst possible place. Any of these, even though if it gets through, right? It's just poor trading. You don't ever buy pivot high. Well, I'm sorry, I'd never buy pivot highs, pivot lows. Right? I just think you're just asking to be bent over. Okay, we got a little micro here. Back to the key entry point, right? But you're back to the McGinley. Now, do we hold here? It doesn't look so great down here. That's not a great entry bar, but we're there. Now, if that starts to go a little bit further, you're probably okay here. I might go. I'd probably be doing micros here, 2, 3, 4 micros here. Do I get a push up here with this as the target, right? Because the expectation is we're going to get a push towards that high. Those aren't great looking signal bars. And here, red here. Everything here is screaming, no, don't too soon to be a buyer. Let's get a decent signal bar here, at least an up bar. Crossover at a 50, at a low volume node. So if it's going to go, it should start pretty much right now. All right, should start. All right, we're pre-market high potentially was resistance, now becomes support. You got a little micro 3 in here, right? Remember, you want to kind of train your eye to always be looking for those 3s, right? That's probably, I'd want to get on the other side of that. Probably buy that. Right, up looking for that to go. Might be a little bit early, so thus micros. If it rolls back down, I'd continue to add. That's viable. Here we're breaking this. Right, this is the target you're expecting. Trading view is easier to work with. The break of that high. Let's see, do we have, that's viable. So anyone who wants to get long here, you probably got a decent trade there. This is quite a rip. Well, so look what happens here. So here's the overshoot. Here's the correction goes way beyond, and then we eventually get to the pivot to test those highs. Right, so that's something to look for when you get 3 bangs on a channel and you get an overshoot. You're expecting a wider retracement. You're expecting this. No, you'd like to see. Okay, come on, buyers. Where are you? Do we have potential here for some? Come here. Some trap shorts up here. We're thinking, oh, right, it can't keep going higher. Well, what's the one thing that's got to clear, right? Got to clear that golden zone. Right, this is always a tough one, right? So if you're long from down here and you're coming up to that golden zone, you know, you got to make a choice. So either what do you got there? You got 20 ticks. You're going to take partial here, anticipating the reaction, right? That they're not going to come down and take your stop out. Now, do we get through? Right? These guys will be a little nervous. It's got to be a close above. Not there yet. Still wrestling with it. Look at the ones. That's pretty good size right there, actually. That could be a limit order. Well, let's see what we got there. 1,200 there, right? That's the, you never know for sure. Looking over at Bookmap. That's 1,200 over here. That could be a limit order. They could be selling that. Up here. So if you're long, right, hopefully you got a little partial out of that. I'd probably still have at least a runner in. What do we get here? We got a surge, right? So we got 3 bars in a row here of increasing delta. But you're getting, oh, what's my star? Fuck, I have to look it up. Oh, now it's gone. Okay, so they're wrestling with that. I mean, we are up at the highs. Now, this says, okay, we're okay, right? There's room for this. There's headroom is what that really is telling you. There's room for this to go. If you're buying in the red, there's no headroom. Well, that's a battle up there. Where are we on the 15? Well, let me go over to let's go to a 15-minute. Not quite through it yet. It's got to be a close above. I think you got a pretty good pivot at 39.60 that's going to deal with. Oh, let's get back over here, see how we look. It's easier when these are stacked. God, I'm so fucking scared of Ninja locking on me. I haven't had a day that it didn't lock on me for about 2 weeks, and I'm not sure why. It usually doesn't, but lately it's been doing it. Okay, so we've got so now we got a little squeeze here. So just a contraction of volatility, which is evident here, right? Force. Where's the force of buyers or sellers? Right? It's absent. Neutral. We're at 0, right? Do you have an edge here? Well, if you're still long, I might tighten up my stop a little bit. Still, the expectation is they're going to go get these stops. If they can, right? If they can't, then we're expecting a deeper retracement. Pre-market mid here. A squeeze, holding, key area here. They're not enthusiastic about it, and the momentum's not there. So that's a crapshoot. If I'm still long, I wouldn't be looking to add necessarily. You do have headroom, right? So you got a little order block there. At least you've got some support down below. I'd probably draw another channel here just to see. All right, we're looking for 3 tags, right? So 3, confirm it. 1, 2, not quite. Still, this is your last decent looking long here. It's still anticipating new highs. All right, there's headroom. All right, we got room for it. Order book is pretty fat up there, so unless they pull it, the next big block, there's a 300 lot up at, well, 272 up at 39.70. It's always so weird. I look over here and it's like a 30-second delay. So when I look at the live stream, you guys are 30 seconds behind me. Okay, so there we go. So they're gonna go try and get that. Oh, well, there's some size just dropped in. Hello. All right, are these guys gonna get uncomfortable here? If we push here, they sure are. That's not big size actually, though. Right. So now they're fucked. Right. So there we go. Right. So those guys are covering. Right. So they're scrambled. So we take out that high. Right. There's a little grab of liquidity. What would you be looking for next is up here. A little retrace into the order block. If you didn't get it, you got to wait now. So if you didn't get it, you need a better looking signal bar. This was a quick gun and run. That could have been just a liquidity grab here. So actually, it looks like that's what they did. All right, so look, this is where you can kind of see, and it's not so much that gives you the decision. Oh, I'm going to short it. There is that after the fact, you start to see how they play the game. Big push into the liquidity, grab it right there. They hold it right, so you don't see that line fade. So they took them on there and they shorted right into it. So that's why these become targets, right? So the next big one up here is at 39.70. If they break this, that's where they're headed. 39.70. 39.70 is right up here. So so we only have, let's see, I got 1, 2, call that 3. So now your anticipation is to go up here and get that. There's headroom, right? We got headroom here again. Came back into the 50 golden zone. That's got a second entry short here. That's better looking still. Okay, so it's coming up on 11:30. So if the trains are on time today, as I always say it, right, we come up here, we'll get the new high here. We'll get another new high. Get another new high. Come into Europe's close. Likely we start some sort of retrace. Why? Why do I say that? Because whales do not buy the highs. If they we got more to go, they'll take it down first. The longer we stay, which is why often you'll see the market will stall up at highs, because if there are no new highs coming, whales will say, "Fuck it, okay, we'll take it down," right? And they'll just broom all the week longs, right, as I call it. They'll broom them out. They all get, God damn it, and then it'll go to new highs. You've got a little micro in here. This guy, well, so you have this one here going for that target, and then you have this one here going, oh, pardon me, this one's going for we got multiple targets up here. We're going for that target. This one's going for that one. So you got those targets here. Not a lot of enthusiasm from buyers up here. So it could be, all right, we ran the highs here. Now, the shorts here that thought, oh, it's going to come down, well, they got bent over. Right, so that's always what we're looking for. Who's in trouble? Right, so now we got a little range here, golden zone. Held it to the tick. So these guys are thinking, oh, okay, I got you. Nope, you're on the wrong side. These guys are going to scramble here if this starts to get legs. Well, we got one more to clear. Right, one more to clear. Hold it, golden zone to golden zone. They'll probably get through that because they're going to go for that. They're through. Okay, so off to get the highs. These guys are clenching. Nervous. Note right back to the EMA. Ticked it here, right? Can they go? Yes, my guess would be yes. Do we have the headroom, right? That's what you're looking at. So the next thing is like, where are we on the tick? Is there headroom there? Yeah, there is. There's room to go up and create a new high there. Doesn't mean we get it, but the room is there. What's happening in the book? Still got size up there at 39.60. These guys, you're going to expect some resistance. Now, if they can get push here, these guys are going to have to cover, right? You guys follow that, right? So if we get up here, they have to cover, right? The stops are here. If they don't, right, they have to buy, right? That'll fuel it. We'll likely get up to 64, which is a key pivot. So now they're fucked, right? So there's the liquidity grab. Boom, got them. All right, so we got the new high. Get you up here, right? So this, you see tick to tick from this golden zone. Here we got it, right? This guy is trying to get up here. There's the new high, right? So we can extend the channel. Oh, fuck here. Here, I'll just clean them up. Okay, let's draw it again. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3 pivots. All right, here's the target. So look how they do this. Look, this is a good example actually here. Okay, so here's the pivot. We go up, we run it back down. Now here's the next pivot. Run it back down. Now here's the next pivot. Now we're through. Right, that's a pretty good run right there. See, there was headroom there. Where do they go? Right to the imbalance, right to the top of the channel. Right, so that channel confirms, right? Is there more there? Yeah, there is, right? Until broken, so you'd anticipate if we come back down here, so this would be an area of interest. All of this right here is prior support. We got a golden zone there, and we got order blocks. I got a fair value gap right there. If we come down here, right? So now look, right? Bull's in full control. So what are you looking for, right? I'm looking for this. Do we come down here? Do we have headroom? Yeah, we do. Right? I'd be looking for that. I mean, 3 major banks collapsing, right? This makes perfect sense. Perfect sense, right? If you try and think what the market's going to do, you're going to be wrong 100% of the time. You cannot think it. You just have to respond to what you see. Because if you try and think, oh my God, the market, think how many people are that don't follow this. See the news about all the crisis in the banking system and are just thinking, oh my God, I got to pull out of the market. I got to buy puts. I got to hedge my positions. And what do? We just straight up. That's how the markets work. What will screw, I'll say it that way, the most people at once. Let's give this a nice push out here. We got headroom. This is kind of surprising. At 11:30, we're still rolling here. I'll probably go another 15 minutes. I want to trade some of this. So this actually, then we go into that noon hour. It's always, that's a good time to not be trading. Take a break. I try and discipline myself to not trade until after 1:30. How's Bitcoin doing? NQ is up 200 points. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense that we would be absolutely fucking vertical. So here on the 15-minute, all right, so we're getting that channel. Right into this. We drew this earlier, right? So this was a pretty decent target. So from this golden zone, we just hit that target in a straight line. Straight line to it, right? That's just I mean, I can't make this shit up. Cannot. I probably got another one here. I mean, you go through these and they're just, I don't know how anyone trades without it. I mean that quite sincerely. Here's another one, 50s. Here's the target. Target, back down. Right now, then we break here and it starts all over again. And this one holds. Is that the top? Well, you got a volatility trigger up here, meaning that there's a bunch of dealers that are going to have to hedge. If we get on the other side of that, because they've sold the calls there, that's all that means, right? So if they've sold the calls here, so if the market gets above that, they're trying to stay delta neutral. They're going to be short, right? So they're going to buy futures to stay delta neutral, which is why that's 39.80. I doubt we'll not likely get through that today, but we might. Right? They're constantly trying to hedge so that they have no directional exposure. So people are buying calls, they're selling calls. Somebody's got to be on the other side of it, right? There's always an option to buy or to sell. Somebody's got to be on the other side of it. That's the dealer, right? So he's like, I don't fucking care if it goes up or down. I just don't want any directional exposure. Okay, so a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm here, but there still is headroom here. Still got headroom. This could go again. So where are the stops? Right? That you should always ask yourself, where are the closest stops? Where are they? Well, we know they're right there. We also know we've got an imbalance there. Oh shit, that could be a fair value gap actually. Can't tell. My guess is that's an imbalance. That's from the volume profile of the prior day. All right. I'd like that a little bit. I'd like to see that come down a little bit lower. Now you're buying up here. We're already up. What is the ES up? ES is up 38 points. I don't know that I'd be overly aggressive there, looking for a lot more upside. Considering what we just looked at on the 15-minute, are we assuming, we're just going to keep ripping and railing? I'd be cautiously thinking, okay, we're at pretty monster morning. Whales made plenty of money. All the algos got paid. Even the big 15-minute algos got paid. What did they get there? Just out of curiosity, it's always kind of from golden zone to target. They got 3,500 per contract. They're probably in 100 lot. Minimum, right? So here, now this is kind of interesting. Okay, maybe I'd want a good signal bar there, but it's kind of okay. 11:30, Europe just closed. Okay, maybe there's one more little kick here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits there. You probably got a scalp there. I might take that in micros just because we're so overextended. I don't know that I'd be going full size there in a 3 lot. Again, these guys are kind of talking to you down here. Right? It's so easy to be impulsive and just go, fuck, go. Let's see if we've got any potential shorts that would be in trouble. Potentially, yes. But that's a lot of selling pressure here. So, you kind of, I might do that. I do this a lot. I draw over my charts all the time, right? So, okay, so these guys are pressing, right? So it's going to have to really fire to get them in trouble. If anything, it feels more like there's more selling pressure up here because, again, it's hitting an algo target is not a sell signal, but that's one hell of a push, right? And you're right up into the prior resistance. And we just did it in a vertical fucking straight line, right? It's not typical. But is there more to go? Well, per the trend line rule, yeah, there's more headroom here. The size there is not insignificant. Where are the stops, right? So always the question, where are the stops? Right here. Right? Can they get these guys that nervous? I would give a slight advantage here to the bears, right? Just time of day. Europe just closed. Very typically, you'll see a counter trend start there. I don't know, right? It's been a pretty big rip-roaring day, and this channel is still very much intact. So what you'd like to see here is a bit of a deeper retracement here on the anticipation here that we still have another push in that channel. Squeeze. Again, don't ignore this. Don't ignore it. All right, so I've got this little push down here. There's no counter trend move equal to twice the ATR. It's going to take a big kick to get those guys nervous. Squeeze. So what would look better here? If I got down here into the low negative 800, well, that's tempting right there. Oh shit, I lost track of you guys. The target was confluence of yesterday's high, weekly upper deviation. And Jeff is really offering you guys a lot of good insight. Listen to him. Okay, so I got a cluster of golden zones down here, but I'm right in a squeeze. And do I have an edge here? Not really. This is certainly, okay, loss of enthusiasm. Okay, we're at the midline here. Nothing. I'd want to see something. We're kind of drifting. If I was taking that, I'd take it in micros. Just thinking, okay, maybe I got one more push here. There's enough room there, so if your stop is here and you're long here on that break, okay, I can get 2 to 1. But I wouldn't be going full size, personally. We're just a little too overextended. Now take it to a 2-minute on the RTH. Right, look how it just hugs it the whole way. These are, it seems like it's too easy. It can't be that easy. Right, usually simple and easy wins the day. Okay, so here this would be a potential entry here. I'd want to, okay, so I got some, at least I'll be on the right side of the RSI. I got plenty of headroom here, but that's going to have to go. Let's see if I can get that out of there. You're still in a squeeze, and I got a little bit of a micro there. Right? You got to get through these guys. Can they do it? This might be more interesting to watch over here. Right, they got all that selling pressure here they're going to have to get through, and they got this guy to get through. But that would be the target, right? Can we get new highs there? Get all of these guys having to cover. You got the headroom here. You got plenty of room. I would think this is going to be tough to get through. Not that I'd be shorting it. I don't know. I'd be overly aggressive on the long here. Because really, what are we saying here? What have we done here? We've just kind of gone into a range, right? After the big kick higher, Europe closes, we start to slow down. The early money has been made. Likely you'd anticipate a deeper retracement now. That said, right, you don't want to ignore the trend line rule, which says this needs to get a new high. Oh, the shit looks like it's going. They're gonna challenge those guys. Not quite there. Not quite. Right, here's the break, right? You're fully anticipating a challenge of that high. Coming out of the squeeze, who's leading, right? So always look, okay, who's leading? Or just look at the color, right? McGinley's leading, it might get spanked, right? So did that clear it? No, it didn't, right? So if you look in there, we did not get a close above. We just got a wick through it. Again, it's time of day, right? It's 11:38. Okay, right? Is there another big monster kick? Maybe. These guys are going to be in trouble. Well, that's the last thing they have to clear before they're going to be very nervous. Let's get rid of that. I'd do it that way. This held it. Going to take a big push here. So these guys are going to need to get uncomfortable. Won't take much to do it. They're going to have to scramble to cover. Right, that's what you're looking for. Who's scrambling? Who's in trouble? That's a pretty good signal bar there. Anticipating. Here's the target. Right, that's what they're after. Next high. Time of day is the only wild card in this. If this was an hour earlier, I would say that's a slam dunk. They'd probably still get it. Not a lot of enthusiasm yet. Plenty of headroom. Sure does look like we've run out of steam here. So if you draw it that way and you look down here, okay, right, that can change in a hurry, right? Just take one big kick in there. Order book. My sense is the better trade is going to be wait for something deeper. You're late to the party. This is a little bit of wishful thinking. Okay, maybe it'll go up here. There's a 369 lot up here. They'll probably want to go get that. 39.70. That would get them to a new high if they can get there. Let's see. I see a supply zone, 39.75, Grumpy OG. Love Jeff Lie. Oh, yeah, we'd love to have a Jeff Lie, right? Maybe we can do, I think I have this thing. There's a mode where I can have two people on. So maybe we can get Jeff, and I'd like to get Erwin on. You guys know Erwin as a master coder. He's a master trader. He is a very, very successful trader. I don't lose track of his skill set as a trader, right? We all think of him as a guy solving our problems with code and indicators. And he's a very, very, very successful trader. Okay, looks like they're going to go get it. That's what we're after here. Kind of surprising. All right, well, let's see if they can get it all. Not yet. You've got the room. Room is there. Here's a little break of the channel, which suggests up we go, right? They're coming out of the squeeze. The McGinley's leading. Not huge enthusiasm here from the buyers. But enough, right? They're going to likely they get it. So you got nervous shorts here. This could actually accelerate now because these guys are going to have to cover, right? So they're already, look, they're nervous, right? So there's the new high, right? So they just broke the high. Now they're accelerating here. How are we doing here? I wouldn't chase. This is not where you want to be entering. You don't want to be entering when we're in the red zone here. Even that could still go higher, but that's just a dangerous place to enter. That's why it's red. Red. You're late to the party. I'm not saying sell it. I'm saying it's not a high probability location, even though we could go 200 points higher. For all I know, it could do that. It's just it's the kind of place where if you buy it and then it kicks back, then you're mentally kicking yourself for buying a high. Where was the opportunity? Probably, safer to say, right? Almost always going to be better if you're buying a retracement. If you're buying at this location here, right? It's just now out of the squeeze. We got the new high, so this has to be extended. I'll do it that way. Slight break here. 2, 3 confirms the channel. So next target, if they can get through. Headroom. All right, you don't want to buy the red. Now retrace to 0 is buyable. But do you want to buy that at the high? I wouldn't. If it came a little bit lower, come down here, right? Retest the channel, key entry location, right at the 50, high volume node, got a 50 in a golden zone. That would be more appealing to me. See, the buyers finally showed up, right? This is always going to lag a little bit, right? It's always going to lag. But while this was going on, you can get eaten alive in here, right? You get nervous, you get out, and then it goes, and you're like, and then you're chasing, and then you're buying up at the high, and then it's coming down. So as we start to roll out of there, that's where you nibble with some micros, maybe you add full size here. I switch them back and forth between them all day long. Depends on how much I like it. Where are we on the board? Sometimes I'll have 5, 6 micros on, and then I'll add 2, 3 full size, just depending on what the price action looks like or how confident I am and where we are. I would not be adding a lot of full size here at the high. What are we doing on time? 11:44. Oh shit, it's been 2 hours. Irwin definitely a beast. You're absolutely right. He is. If he had more time to trade, he'd be even more of a beast. Fuck, half the time he's answering support, but he is a really, really skilled trader and a price action trader, right? He teaches very similar approach to trading. My view is why not use indicators? It seems, I mean, they're useful, right? Sure, they're going to lag, but they give you great confirmation here. I don't know why. I'm not so a purist of any sort to where I was like, oh, I can't have any indicators on the chart. All right, so this is so your bias is still to the long side here because we have not had a breakout of this channel. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, now potentially 5 hits. But that bias here, the only way you're going to change that on the day is we start to break lower and we get something like this. Now we start coming down. Now you get a clear break. But as it is right now, okay, so there's key entry point. I got shorts pushing here. Okay, so we're right into the support, right in the pocket between the 50 and the golden zone. That's not a great looking entry bar, but if we start to rally a little bit higher, you got headroom here. Boy, the book is pretty full actually up above it. Pretty full up there. All right, so you could have, look over here. All right, that's some size up here. So there's some resistance building up here. Now the market will likely want to go up and check that. That's 400. No, they pulled a little bit right here. So between the two, looks like there's about 400 sitting up here. That's pretty thick. But the market will not necessarily want to go away from it. It'll go towards it because that's liquidity, right? So what's the point of the market, right? Transactions. So let's go see if we can transact up here. Right, if it moves too far away from it, then they'll pull those orders or they'll reduce the number of them. You got potential here for these guys to get in trouble. It's going to take a big push. Right, but right back here. So here, like at the low of the bar, you've got your second entry. Oh fuck. Can't remember what our code is here but you got your second slot entry there right here. So this is starting to look more bullish. Now what's the next thing they got to do? They got to deal with that. They got to deal with that micro. And they got to get through it, right? They get through it. These guys are nervous. Look where we pivot right at the 21 McGinley. We're so high though, this makes you think that potentially you've got this coming. We'll see. There's room for new highs here. Right, we're neutral enough. You could have a good 4 or 5 point move there easily. Get this one up here. Okay, holding on the edge there. If that's going to go, so I'd like to see the RSI get on the other side. I'd like to see this climbing like that to get on the other side of the signal line. I'd like to see some signs, even though this is going to lag, I want to see this get on the other side of the 0 line. That's a decent looking signal bar, but you're right. You can't see it, right? You're right into the golden zone. Got to get on the other side of it. Which is why, see, look there. This is why you're better to be entering down here because now I'm already, what have I got there? I'm already 17 ticks when I hit it. Right, so which is why, here, you don't want to do this, right? There's a couple things you want to do. If you wait until it clears by a little bit, it'll do this. So you really would rather see a bigger, that's what you'd rather see. If it's going to break it hard and then come back rather than go, oh, now it's safe to buy it. Often it'll just wick through. Well, all that size is still in the book there. They're going to try and lure them into that. Where's the next target? Right here. Even though we have this little break here now, per the channel and trend line rule, the anticipation is we're going to get a new high, right? It's going to go challenge that extreme and potentially, pushes up here. That's 200 DIB. It's kind of surprising because if we look over here, look where we are. That's pretty. We are up. Certainly, you could draw this over. Some pretty good resistance there. There's the vol trigger, right? So if they get above 39.80, well, look what they've got to deal with up there. Golden zones, fair value gaps, order blocks, right? So to keep pushing here, unlikely, not improbable or impossible, just improbable, I should say. Well, so okay, so just not quite. I'd do this. I'd have this right here. Okay, can we get through that? That's where the stops are. Rare. You see if they can't get them. That's always a bit of a tell. If they can't get the stops, because you know that's the target. If they can't get them and we roll over here, that would be telling. This looks like there's just a measured move in there. Like we're just doing, fuck, come here. We're just doing this. Here's the golden zone. Here's the target. That would get you up to that target. You got room. I wouldn't be buying there. Don't ignore that. Well, let's see. We'll go another couple of minutes. Let's see if they get the new highs here. All right, plenty of headroom. Plenty of headroom. Time of day is the wild card. Surprising to be still pushing up here. $250 in the NQ. $250. Oh, shit, I lost you guys. Watch the low volume node, 39.70. 39.70. Well, we're on the edge of the value area. So low volume because there's been no trading up there. I think that's what you mean. Unless you're talking about coming over from, you might be, I think you're talking about low volume node. Looking at the 15, I see it. Is that 70? I got 75 there as the next low volume node on the 15. Okay, so there, you know this is a target. If they can't get there, that would be telling, right? So you're going to have these longs are going to be nervous, right? If this starts to roll over. Right now it looks like they're going to get it without any trouble. Look here at the lows of those bars. That's strength all the way. Oof. Yesterday would have been a much more interesting live stream because we had so many trend changes. It was all over the place. Today's much like Tuesday. Just a fucking grind. Straight grind. Since we had, let's see, 10:20, we've stayed on the other side of the McGinley and the EMA the whole way. Still looking like new highs to come. Should be a decent afternoon, my guess is it'll be decent. Okay, again, don't ignore that. Now, if we sit up here for a while, that's where you start to think, okay, if they can't get new highs now, if they can't do it, and they'll probably do it here, and then we'll wrap it, then likely we get a deeper retracement. There we go. Those shorts, these guys, nervous. They're going to have to cover. Oh, and this is another fucked, right? So there's the push, right? So these guys are all covering, scrambling, right? So they got to cover. They're just buying at the market, right? Creates that imbalance there. And the measured move hits its target. We clear out the low volume, so now we got nothing up here. 39.80 is a big number. That you're gonna. If we get on the other side of that with conviction, dealers are gonna have to buy futures. God, that would be surprising. So do you see this guy? This one hit its target. This one hit its target. This one hit its target. So look back here. So in the series of this channel, this hit its target. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 measured moves, all getting target right there. I know it's easy after the fact. Very easy. And what we get here? We got into the red zone here. Not a sell signal per se. You wouldn't want to be going counter to this. But boy, talk about a channel. Wow. Get you off that side. Until that breaks, right? We get enough break. Buy only. These guys showed up. Well, this it says it nicely over here, just all the way up. Not even a touch. Didn't even touch it on the 2 minute. Okay, now we get a little bit of it. Okay, so we're coming in on 11:55. My guess is, okay, so look at it over here. Right, you're right up to the vol trigger here at 39.80. That's a lot of resistance up there. And all of this, I wouldn't be shorting it, but I would not be longing it there myself. Second target's up here. And you got another cluster up here, so note those. That's not to be ignored. You got these guys here. There's a 50 and a golden zone right there. All these fair value gaps. That if we're blowing through that, there is no limit to American greed. So if it can get there, it will. All right, guys, I think that's all I got. I'll be trading this afternoon, so I'll be around this afternoon and be posting in here. Hopefully you guys get something out of these. It's hard for me to know, right? It's hard for me to catch. It's hard for me to catch the chat, but I see Jeff very active, right? You guys, Jeff's got great input for you guys. So I see him, Bobber. I see some of you guys, Vertic, active. Right? So I'll get better trying to go back and forth between those two. Okay, guys. I hope you get a little something out of these. I don't know. It's hard for me to know unless I get some feedback or what you'd want me to do differently. Hopefully you get something out of these, but we'll probably call it a day here, and then I'll be posting this afternoon. I haven't taken a single trade all day, so chance for me to make a little money. Okay, guys, you have a good one, and let's see. We'll be back next Tuesday, assuming you guys don't tell me these are just a giant waste of time. Okay, guys, talk to you later. Oh, fuck, now I don't even know how to turn it off. Oh, I got to go to OBS.